What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity here. Hope you guys are doing well. I have some unfortunate news, an unfortunate realization that I've come to over the last few days, which is, of course, that Call of Duty is just not worth saving. I truly believe that this community was united to force a boycott within this franchise so that we could see better Call of Duty games on the horizon. But unfortunately, I just think it's all going to be for naught. And that's disappointing because I thought we were finally in a good spot. I thought that people were ready to just push against Activision's BS and finally come together to hold this publisher and franchise accountable. Make them raise the bar. Have higher standards. But I've come to that realization after seeing some of the early numbers from Season 4 that none of this matters. Call of Duty is actively trying to push away its hardcore player base because we're the ones that hold them accountable. We're the ones that voice critical opinions, and Call of Duty doesn't want any of that. They want the casual player base, and they've got the casual player base. They want to maintain that. They want to coddle that. They want to hold that. That's what they care about because that casual player base isn't critical of them. Doesn't go on YouTube, Reddit, or Twitter. Isn't out there trying to make changes to the Call of Duty formula, to the franchise, or anything like that. They are there to solely play the game mindlessly, spend money on the DLC, and then turn the game off at the end of the night. They don't sit there and scroll through the Modern Warfare 2 subreddit. They don't scroll through charlieintel.com. They don't scroll through YouTube trying to find the latest news about Call of Duty because they frankly don't care. It is a hobby for them, one that they don't want to spend too much time on. They just use it as an escape tool. That's who Call of Duty caters to now. That's the player base Call of Duty wants. They want to push all of us aside because to them, we are a nuisance. We are a problem. We are somebody out there that is trying to make them work harder, hold them to a higher standard, have higher expectations. But of course, Call of Duty doesn't want that. That takes extra work. We're a problem for them. So how do you get rid of a problem? You ignore it. That's one way to do it for sure. Another way to do it is to just turn your back to them. And that's what Call of Duty's done. They've shown us time and time again since early beta of Modern Warfare 2 that they are not willing to work with this community anymore. And they want to just continue to coddle and maintain this casual player base. And this casual player base allows them to still be top 5 on both Xbox and PlayStation, allows them to be top 3 on Steam, and that's what Call of Duty desires. That is what gets them horny at night. They just care about this casual player base. That's it. And sure, there's pros out there who are still going to play this game because there's some money involved for them, even though that Call of Duty likes to sink that ship as well because they wanted to sign an exclusivity deal with YouTube, which is only going to actively make their product worse because watch parties aren't going to be a thing anymore. And on top of that, they're also pushing away other people that hold them accountable, like Charlie Intel, who's one of my number one sources for anything Call of Duty. Yeah, he's just not invited to Activision events anymore because he's been critical of them this year. The Activision company, publishing team, they're a bunch of babies. That's what it comes down to. They're a bunch of lazy babies that don't want to put any real work in. They don't want to listen to criticism. They want to take their money and run. That's all they care about. They don't care about making good games anymore. They don't care about holding anybody accountable anymore. All they want to do is take their money and run. And if you're critical of them in any step of the way, they don't want to deal with you. They don't want to associate with you. They just want their casual player base, maintain that casual player base, and that's it. Because heaven forbid, actually make a good game. Heaven forbid, have high expectations. Heaven forbid, holding yourself accountable to any of the promises you've ever made. Is this one of the most innovative Call of Duties ever? No. Is it a bold Call of Duty? No. Is it expansive? No. Have you changed the UI? No. Are you disbanding lobbies still? Yes. Have you done anything that you said you wouldn't do? No. Because guess who isn't holding them accountable? The casual player base. Who are they trying to push away? Everybody else. Anybody that wants to hold them accountable. Call of Duty is simply saying, we don't want you. Go play other games. And that's what's going to happen. We're going to go play other games. We're going to make X Defiant a success. But Call of Duty doesn't care because they know the casuals are going to stick around. I'd love to believe that a full-fledged boycott would do anything, but it won't, because the casuals are still going to be there. They're still going to buy the game. They're going to buy the battle passes. They're going to buy the Blackcell. All of this stuff that doesn't enhance the experience, doesn't make the game better, because they never reinvest this money to make the game better. All they do is pad their pockets with it. I would just like some accountability over at Activision. Somebody in Infinity Ward to care, to put an iota of identity into this game. But no, instead they put wolf costumes into the game, because that's what this game needed. Furries. That's what I want on the battlefield. A flippin' furry. This is how far Call of Duty has fallen, and it's absolutely disgusting that they take the moniker of a great game like Modern Warfare 2 from 2009 and slap it on this garbage can of a game. This game is complete dog water, and it's such a shame because it had real potential. But because Call of Duty and Activision and Infinity Ward didn't want to be held accountable, they didn't want to listen to the criticisms. They just wanted to coddle that small casual player base, which in fact isn't small. It's the large player base. And they probably look at those Steam numbers that we've seen time and time again, that I've talked about here on this channel, and they laugh because they couldn't care less. Those numbers don't affect them whatsoever, because those are all the hardcore players. Those are all the players that are a nuisance, that will be critical of them. Those are those players that are leaving. The casual players that are going to stick around and not say a peep, they're still there, and they're always going to be there. Because it's Call of Duty, and it has enough name recognition to maintain the casuals. And Call of Duty knows that X-Defiant might be a little bit of a blip, but not enough to pull people away, because it doesn't have the name recognition Call of Duty does. And this is the problem. Call of Duty has no incentive to change, no incentive to be inventive, no incentive to be innovative, no incentive to actually listen to their critics, to hold themselves accountable, because they have this backbone to fall back on. And it's just disappointing to see, because this is a franchise that I believed could get better with some intervention from the community. But now noticing just how little this matters, after every single controversy that we've watched Activision terribly navigate over the last few months, and they're still sitting here on the other side with a healthy community, because there's players that just simply don't even know what SM2 was going to be, or what X Labs was going to be, or heck, the Nick Merck situation, or Tim the Tatman. Yeah, just doesn't matter to them. All of these little blips on the radar for Activision at the end of the day don't matter. This is a franchise that's going to stand the test of time. It's going to be here long after we're here, just because they have enough of a casual player base to maintain their terrible, terrible game. Call of Duty lost its identity a long time ago, and unfortunately it's never going to be found again, because no one's bold enough to stand up to Activision and actually create a game with some soul, with some life, with some passion. That's what Call of Duty needs. It doesn't need furries in the game. It doesn't need somebody wearing a saber-toothed tiger on its back. No, this game needs an identity. It needs somebody that creates passion behind their project. And we just don't have that right now. Now, the fortunate news is we do have a game on the horizon called X-Defiant that will have a passionate dev team that is working tirelessly to create a positive community. We also have Counter-Strike 2 coming out, and I'd far rather support these games. And this is what's going to happen. I feel like parts of this community that have been critical of Call of Duty in the past are going to move to these other games. They're going to try them out. What they're going to find is a community that is welcoming, that is going to be prepared to actually hold the developers accountable. And guess what? The developers will listen, and they'll leverage that criticism into making a better game, something that Call of Duty won't do. And my hope and my dream is that these games rise to the level that Call of Duty used to be, and that they can start siphoning off some of this casual player base that Call of Duty holds so near and dear to their heart. And then we might actually get change in Call of Duty. But frankly, I'm not going to be here to change it. I don't want to change Call of Duty. I want Call of Duty to lose at this point. I want them to lose so badly that everybody has to tuck their tail between their legs and walk home in the rain, soaked, disappointed, upset, wondering where they went wrong. And where you went wrong was simple, Call of Duty. You stopped caring about your community. You stopped pushing for innovation. You stopped putting passion behind your games. And you lost the Call of Duty identity along the way. That's all the time I have for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Is Call of Duty still worth saving, or should we turn our backs onto this game the same way that the developers turn their backs to us? Would love to know what you think. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time.